Cyber insane gaming. Insane. Yeah, Tron. My boy Tron. I'm not really sure if he's the offlane player. I want to say that he is, but I'm not positivo.
Dire team done.
I didn't trust it.
Radiant team pick.
Oh, good. Aaron. Do it to it, Aaron. Sometimes I make Ben's just Benny Woo instead of Ben Woo.
10 seconds remaining.
Woo.
5 seconds remaining.
Apparently I'm not mentioning Dad Dota too much. I feel like I mention it at least once every cast. With lines like, hey Ben, how about you Dad Dota that bitch? More like... I don't really want to turn this song off, but... Let's go, you know? Change the encoder settings for the locals, and now the computer doesn't hang like a little biatch.
Remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Oh man, it's almost camera time. Oh no, my mic's open.
Reserve time.
Well played.
Well played indeed. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently my mic's been open all morning, so you already know that we're here. You already know that we're feeling good. And,
This is nice.
Was this a trick?
I wish I was.
Because I just came in and turned everything on. And
I would convince you to say something much funnier. I would ask you some questions.
That was some pretty bland open miking right there.
Yeah.
So, alright, well, I'm Zyori. With me today is K-Pop-tosis. And, well, we have a weird schedule today. We've got basically
a weird schedule.
2 games, and then a break, and then I think there's 1 game, and then I think there's another break, and then I have 2 games in the afternoon. So we're all over the place.
And one of the games overlap?
Yeah, I think we have Mock covering, like, some...
I've never seen StarLadder overlap games before.
Yeah, I think it was just tight scheduling, so...
It's not like they can push it late or early with these other games going on, so...
Yeah. So, alright, let's take a look at the grid here. Coming up first, we're going to have Fnatic versus Q Insane, the Q Cyber Insane Gaming. And let's see, Fnatic's hitting 4-3 right now, not doing particularly well in this group stage.
Yeah, they're really going to have to turn it on if they want to make it.
Yeah, and Insane Gaming, where are they? Oh, they're
at the bottom of the barrel.
Dead last, 0-7. So Insane have been struggling a bit as well. And they've been struggling with,
Reserve time.
With, stand-ins and whatnot. Chapo, a.k.a. Tron, will be standing in for them once again. And I think we can go ahead and hop on into our draft here, Brian.
Good. Tiny Wisp.
Tiny Wisp, what do you know?
That's the Fnatic combo, man.
Fnatic will scoop it if
they can get it, they will.
If they can get it, they'll scoop it.
This patch with it,
yeah,
pretty good. They're really the only team that runs it that often. I don't know anybody else that will run the Tiny Wisp combo. There's teams that'll try it. Some other ones, like Liquid's tried it a couple of times. It's Fnatic's strat. When you think Tiny Wisp, you think of what Fnatic's been doing this patch.
I certainly do. They've been pretty successgood with it overall, but not every game. Not quite like they used to be. Did you just read off some stats that I wasn't listening?
I was reading about how good this patch.
It's just good in general. Okay.
They're 9-2 this patch with it.
That's it. That's all they've played. It only 9-2.
11 times. Well, they usually ban out the IO.
That's true.
They usually don't let Fnatic get. Honestly, Fnatic's probably the only team that's worth first banning IO against now. Maybe DK, because M1 plays a pretty baller ball.
Yeah.
But that's probably about it. And a Darkseer.
Yeah, the Darkseer is a bit more interesting. One we haven't seen all too much. I'm honestly not the biggest fan of the Darkseer these days. It seems like he works less often than he does.
Well, he's just a hero of being hit with a Nerf bat so many times. He's just kind of, you can't recognize him anymore. But I mean, the cooldown on vacuum is what now? 28 seconds. It's like a really low impact ultimate. It just has a really really low cooldown. It's types of lineups if you're trying to do a certain thing. It's a good hero to put Trixie on so he doesn't get first blood, because it's kind of hard to get first blood on Darkseer because you have surge early.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a shot fired and a fair point, so you get a double win for that one. But you're right, Darkseer, I mean, he's just okay. I have trouble seeing where he really fits in. He was really good in that kind of older school meta, like 6.78, where some lineups were just all about the wombo combo. The setup, getting that one, like, perfect ult rotation, and destroying your opposition in one big team fight. That strategy just doesn't really come about so much anymore. It's much more about ganking, roaming, and then team fighting towards the end, but not in that same wombo combo kind of way.
Yeah, Darkseer is an offlaner that can't really make things happen for a while. You'll see a lot of times people will even skip, like, you don't even get your ultimate at level 6 a lot of the times on Darkseer.
Yeah.
Some people have been doing it recently so he can fight earlier. But Darkseer is a hero that usually takes a lot of time to even get up to snuff, which is something you don't really want that much out of your offlane anymore.
Yeah.
Reserve time.
Much earlier, which is why we see Nyx Assassin offlanes a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the last couple Darkseers. I think actually the last time I saw Darkseer, I was casting with you because he went hand-to-mitis, and you were really upset about it.
I hate it so much.
I know, see? So
but
bad. that's sort of been like the go-to that a lot of Darkseers that I've seen
7, man.
have been doing.
And you do this.
That's not even an offlane Darkseer. That's I'm going to start in the offlane, hit level 3, and then just scoot into the jungle real quick.
I mean, I guess.
I got to get my farm on.
If you're trying for the rest of your team to be greedy and you can get an early minus and just stay in the jungle and play kind of Nature's Prophet, where you spend the first 30 minutes in lane and then you swap to being in the jungle, it's okay. But you don't have the global presence to help with ganks like a Nature's Prophet does, so you can't even help out your team like you would normally if you had a minus. I don't know. I do like the Bane. I like Bane a lot. Bane's a good hero.
Yeah, you can't really ever go wrong with a Bane pick for the most part. I'm more interested in this Queen of Pain
from another hero we don't see a whole lot.
From Q-Cyber Insane Gaming. Yeah, you're right. We don't see it too often, and when I was casting with Ben the other day, we saw a Queen of Pain pick up, and I'm forgetting now which match it was. But she's just okay. One thing that Queen of Pain does really well is burst damage. She can do pretty much the most AoE burst damage in the smallest amount of time. Right. That's her speciality, but she doesn't do much else other than that. So I'm not the biggest fan. I think she's okay right now. I think if you have a particularly skilled quap player, she can be good, but in general, there are other mids that just bring a little more to the
I think the idea is just to have a good mobility mid that's going to be able to...
She's hard to gank, too. That's true.
Yeah, it's going to be a hero that's going to be able to get away from the IO Tiny teleport in. They want it to be someone that can get away from it. If you see the wisp balls coming in, you can just run away really fast.
Yeah.
I think that's the idea. Puck was banned out, so they got the second best thing. Weaver's pretty good about dealing with tiny wisp ganks because you Kuchi away or time lapse if the initial avalanche toss combo doesn't kill you.
Yeah.
Which it's hard for it not to when you have a health pool like Weaver.
Yeah.
10 seconds.
I don't know. It's sort of on both sides of the fence. Bane is really good against Weaver because it's a lot of lockdown, and Weaver tends to shine in environments where there isn't a lot of lockdown on the opposition. Of course, you've got Tiny with the avalanche, but it's sort of like in the middle. They have some tools to deal with Weaver. It's going to be just a neutral game. It's not going to be easy, not going to be hard.
Right.
It's just going to be kind of a regular old game for the little Weavy there. But
apparently my mic needs to be knocked up a little bit, which is rare for me. Usually I'm screaming.
Well, it is the morning time.
I guess I just woke up. I'm usually casting in the afternoon.
Maybe if Trixie gets a hand, I'll get excited.
Oh God, and I'll yell at him. I don't think Trixie goes Midas on Darkseer.
I'm not so sure that
Bones. It's almost Bone 7 and someone else exclusively, and the Tinker. Yeah.
Whoa! All right.
I like this.
So that's a Honey Tinker. Right?
Yeah, it's a Honey Tinker.
Interesting. That's exciting.
I don't know if I've seen Honey play. I know he does play Tinker. I don't remember the last time I saw him.
Check this out. Yeah,
I can see how he is on Tinker.
You know, we've been seeing more and more Tinker recently, and I like it. I'm a fan.
All off. Like, I can't think of another intelligence-based hero that is as good throughout the game like Tinker is. Because as long as you're getting items, you're staying relevant. Double Sheep is going to be
Row Ranger final pick.
Alright. The Dro Visage combo is very strong. Or affects the birdies.
It took me a second. I was
your little gargoyle babies are going to be hitting really hard.
It's true, actually. We have seen this combo once or twice. I think I've casted... the game that I covered when there was a Visage Dro combo was a very one-sided game skill-wise.
Cloud9 running it, right?
I think so. I believe so. I can't remember exactly which game
they like
it was.
to run that strap. That's really the only time I like them playing Drow Rangers, when they actually get AU Visage.
It's one of those things that sounds kind of silly, like, oh yeah, well they'll get a little damage buff. It's not a little damage buff. It's a big damage buff.
It's huge.
And the thing about the Visage Familiars is they do low amounts of damage very quickly. They have a very low base auto attack, so it's like pew, 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 pew.
It's a little.
So adding just a little bit of damage to that really ups their effective damage per second.
Exactly.
Which is what makes it so dirty. So
it's
the
really
numbers
good.
are
It's really good too, because they can just stay attacking instead of having to slam down to get their charges back, because their base attack is still enough to do damage. Because normally after you attack with them a couple of times, they're just like 12 a plop. But with that Drow Aura, they start hitting a lot harder.
Yeah. So, interesting. The thing that I worry about for Q Insane, though, is their team is very squishy. The only saving grace they have is Dazzle Shallow Grave. And they'll actually do a 5-man smoke out of the gate here to get things rolling. But other than that, no strength heroes, very, very squishy, very susceptible to that tiny combo of Avalanche and Toss.
This Drow very well could be food as soon as the relocate comes online.
And I mean, they've got Bane, who will be able to solo some of these heroes as well. Uh-oh, Fly, he's in some trouble. There's the Grave Shield to start it off. Ink Visitor, Shikuchi's forward. And there's actually a dagger from Judo as well. But
No Tail.
Good guy, No Tail. He tethers to his friend, and looks like Bane will survive. So a noble effort from Insane, but unfortunately for them, they will walk away empty-handed.
There's a good path by Fly to go straight towards the tower, not to freak out. Yeah. Some heroes, some players will want to kind of freak out and they'll run the wrong way, or they'll try to run to the top because they have the more immediate tree cover. Like they fog them faster, but he would be safe. So yeah, smart decision.
So let's introduce these rosters. Here on the Radiant side, we've got Q Insane. We'll have Judo playing on the Queen of Pain, probably slated for the solo safe lane, it looks like here.
Yeah.
It will be Joe Ranger in the mid-roll, played by CY. I would guess that this is Chomi, but I'm not positive. Maybe we'll check that profile if we have a moment here. Big Num will be on the support Dazzle, and he is rotating through the mid lane right now. We'll see where he ends up. Stand-in Tapo, a.k.a. Tron, will be on the Visage, and it will be an off-lane Weaver played by Ink Visitor.
We'll have Fly playing the narrowly escaping Bane. We'll have No Tail on his now signature IO, plays a good one. Along with him in lane is going to be Era on the Tiny. Darkseer will be in the off lane, played by Trixie. And Hani will be playing the solo safe lane Tinker.
Yes, indeed. So it will be a Honey Tinker, not quite in the lane that I would have initially thought, but more often than not, we actually see Tiny Wisp in the solo mid, well, in the duo mid.
The duo mid.
Yeah, Fnatic really would like to do that. And it's not so crazy now, but every so often it catches their opponents off guard. And as we see, Big Num is already rotated in, so it will be a Dazzle Dro lane to try and deal with the scary Tiny Wisp.
You know, I've seen a lot of Dazzle dual mids, very rarely because you want to do it, and way more often because the other team's running a dual mid and you realize you can't leave your hero alone against a dual mid. And I've never really been impressed with what Dazzle brings to a dual mid.
Yeah, he's not a particularly great dual mid hero. I think he's only good in a dual lane if it's a kill lane. If it's like a Dazzle carry Naga or something where there's a lot of synergy with some minus armor in the physical, and you can just obliterate people.
The thing that he brings to the lane here is that Drow has no way to push the creep wave out, right? So she can right click, but she can't really do anything else. And Dazzle Shadow Wave does that, but he can't spam Shadow Wave enough. Like, this Dazzle's not going to be getting a bottle. He's got a clarity or two, but he hasn't even leveled Shadow Wave yet, so he's not going to be able to pick up the
Top flies in a little bit of trouble. Looks like they might dive him here. Ink Visitor, he's looking for that one last auto attack. The Geminate secures the first blood. Oh, boy. This is a little bit rough for Fnatic. Now Hani getting completely zoned out as well as Tron pushes him back. Bane will respawn and ports to the tier 2 tower, but a very close call. Bane stood his ground and actually almost finished off Ink Visitor, but as we saw, that one last little Geminate attack, that value point at level 2, man. So, Q Insane off to the races here. They'll grab the first blood and take a small little golden experience lead.
It's always worth that level 2 point in Geminate attack. The Swarm is not good early. It's much better to have that extra harass, that extra damage.
The thing about Swarm that makes it potentially good early is the scouting tool. It does give you vision. So that's one thing that it's not about the damage necessarily as much as it is about just...
they're going to go on Hani.
Yeah, and they might be able to grab a kill right here. There's not much Bane can do to stop him. He'll throw out the Nightmare, but Ink Visitor, and he'll just Shikuchi forward and see you later. A heat-seeking missile comes out, but that won't be nearly enough. Ink Visitor off to the races, 2-0 to get things going here.
This is just a very strong dual lane with both Weaver and Visage able to pump out a lot of damage at very early levels. And Tinker is not exactly someone who's resilient to pressure early. He does no escape mechanism. He's got burst damage, yes, but he doesn't really have the mana pool to sustain that early and to keep it up, to keep the other team low.
Yeah, and this is kind of unfortunate for Fnatic because Tinker's generally a solo hero. He's one of those solo maids that, he needs farm, but he also really needs experience. And he needs those early boots of travel. And not only is he dying up here, but he's not really farming that well either. Tinker's only 8-0. Weaver is 13-2. It's just not going well. And there's not much they can do about it. I mean, Darkseer, he can't really rotate that much. He could move into the jungle and then give Tinker the off lane. Yeah, we see No-Tail taking some damage in the mid there, but their lanes are kind of rigid at this point, and it's a little bit unfortunate. They might have been better off putting Darkseer up top where he can survive against the Weaver a bit easier, and then maybe putting Tinker in the hard lane, even though that sounds kind of weird. He would have an easier matchup against Queen of Pain.
Right. And it's not like the hard lane is that hard anymore.
Yeah.
So it would be fine.
Yeah, the disparity between the lanes ain't what it used to be.
Danger on Dire, so you can throw some marches into the Dire camp, the Dire Ancient camp if you need to.
Yeah, now the nice thing about Tinker is he can be an okay recovery hero, especially if the supports start stacking Ancients, which they haven't done quite yet, but, well, you never know. Maybe Trixie could move over there and... At least Tinker will have that option to clear out some Ancient stacks, use the March of the Machines, and try to come online. Without early BOTs, he won't have that same impact that most Tinkers were used to seeing.
March at all. He's going for the laser rockets build, which I think is really just to try to burst down this Weaver. Since you're not in mid lane, you don't really want the creep wave to push, so he can't exactly be spamming March. Yeah, but I think it makes sense as a lane build. But it's so interesting because you don't see it a whole lot.
Yes, I agree on both fronts. You really don't see it too often. March seems to be the way most Tinkers go, at least the few that we've seen over the past couple weeks. And this build is not that bad. It is very burst intensive. The heat-seeking missiles in particular, if you're up against a duo lane, one of the most damage-efficient abilities for the mana, because it's only 175 at level 2 for 140 mana, but it hits 2 heroes. So you can really put out a lot of effective damage early on. Quieted down a little bit. How is Tiny's farm looking? Let's take a gander at net worth here. And he's middle of the pack. He's doing okay. Slightly ahead of the Dro, but nowhere even close to the Weaver or the Queen of Pain for that matter, who are both kind of having a field day here.
This is such a PvE lane bottom.
Yeah.
They're just kind of acting like each other don't exist and just farming away. They know they can't kill each other, so they're just happy to let it be.
Yeah, especially for Queen of Pain. Darkseer is so hard for her to kill. Her big killing tool is the slow from the dagger, and of course he has so that's
the Dazzle gets gone on mid.
Oh, he'll get off the shallow grave and survives the initial burst. They won't follow up. It'll just take a couple of wisp balls to finish him off, but No-Tail won't be in position to do it.
He was so close to having that toss come off.
That was a really clutch grave from Dazzle, right in the nick of time.
Oh, can't get close enough to get the toss.
Doesn't look like it. Dro does have boots. Tiny
still
actually has power treads, but he doesn't have throw yet, so he is just so slow. That's something a lot of people don't realize, is that Tiny also gets movement speed from his ultimate.
Oh, and the Sonic Wave.
Oh, wow. I kind of caught it.
That was from downtown, man. That was from downtown.
But yeah, a lot of folks don't realize that the ultimate actually gives movement speed. So even though he has power treads, he's still slower than the Dro right now because he doesn't have grow. So
especially when he's not tethered up.
Yeah, kind of a silly commit right there. And well, a good rotation from Queen of Pain to finish off No Tail. And now we'll make it 3-0 here at the 7-minute mark. So Q Insane there. In a little bit of trouble down bottom.
Oh, and he gets up top.
Yeah.
Well, Nightmare, the Tinker was able to just throw 2 nukes off and he was dead immediately.
Alright, well, looks like he did make the right choice with that build. I thought Trixie was going to take a spill down bottom after that rotation from Dazzle, but he will survive as No Tail tethers his way over. That one, my bad, but that is one of the good things about this build from Tinker and actually going for that.
Now Weaver went from full health to 0.
Yeah, that third point in
hard
laser.
to catch.
It's a lot of burst. Yeah. Super hard to catch it. I thought Trixie was going to be the next one to fall. I was trying to hedge my bets there in the bottom lane, but, well, can't win them all, I suppose. Being farmer now on net worth, now that Weaver is finally taking a trip back to the grave. And what's kind of scary for this Weaver is nothing is going to stop Flying Honey from doing that again. That was a pretty easy setup as well. Nightmare and then just into a couple of, I guess the laser is a skill shot, but when they're Nightmare, that makes it pretty easy. The only thing that they'll be waiting for is Hani's mana pool, which unfortunately is suffering right now. He doesn't have a bottle, doesn't have a soul ring, but he does have a fair bit of gold. 1,500.
He's not that far away from his bots.
Yeah, he'll have decently timed Boots of Travel as long as he doesn't get picked off again in the time it takes him to farm another 500 gold or so.
So it's 8 minutes in the game, not exactly what you want when you're running a dual mid, but it's passable, and they're going to try to dive here. Mid.
And Dro using that new silent positioning tool, but they'll walk right into Dazzle. Poison Touch out onto No Tail. And Dro taking some heavy damage, but this is a hard dive. I don't think they really want to go for it.
I think Air's dead here.
Yeah, Tron ports in. No Tail doesn't have a lot of hit points to play around with either. He does have some bottle charges, though. Dyer's Courier gets picked off. Poor Micro from Fnatic right there that was on its way in.
Oh, no, they're turn around
on the Visage, and there you go. Well done. Good use of the bottle, and they get back up to full health. Sharing is caring, as they like to say. And their dive is worth it, though. Yeah. It almost looks like they were going to overextend.
The strength of the bottle rush on the IO.
Yeah.
No Tail's been the one checking the wards. He had a regen room, so he was able to defend his overly diving area. And they're going to go on bottom and get another kill.
See ya, Judo. This is part of the problem when I looked at this draft of how squishy they are. Tiny's combo isn't even in full effect yet. Avalanche still has 2 points to go, and they're already just dropping these squishy heroes. Yeah. We will see this bottom tier 1 tower get picked off as well, it looks like. Lift comes out from the Radiant, but Trixie will be happy just to cut the wave. And, he is going hand to Midas on that Darkseer. He's got the recipe sitting at home.
Okay. No comment.
No comment. Weaver level 7. Hani picking up a little bit of solo XP here. It looks like his Boots of Travel, well, they would be on the way if they had a Courier, but Courier's still down for another 2 minutes, so there you go. He'll have his Boots of Travel. Did Bane deliver those for him? Is that what just happened?
I'm not sure, actually.
I think he might have. I don't know how else Hani would have gotten them. So, Hani didn't leave the lane.
Okay.
But there you go. Bane doubles as a Courier. When in doubt, give it to your Bane.
I've done that before. I've told players on my team to just act as a Courier before.
Yeah.
It wasn't being serious. It was more being mean. But
I guess it can be viable though if your Courier gets picked off in an untimely manner. This bird just starting to pick up that momentum, and we will see Tiny grab his drums. Yep, there you go. And No Tail again working as the Courier for him.
And I did get level 6 on that kill bot, so they are ready to go.
They are ready to relocate and set up more kills. And again, now that Hani has the Boots of Travel, he is level 7, has at least a point in March. He'll be able to start moving around and, well, at least participate in fights if they need him, and also just start racking up that farm a little bit. Still a very quiet game, though. Only 6 kills
they're
here.
They're going to go bot.
In 11 minutes, and oh, there you go. Queen of Pain. She'll get dropped again. Whisper out. The burst damage in this game is too much.
I'm on Tiny IO watch. That's what I'm doing for you, man. I'm yelling.
All right,
calling it out whenever it happens.
Need to make my minimap icons a little bigger. This is one of those games where you have to really, like, okay, who is going to get ganked next because you won't have time to react once they start taking damage. It's an all or nothing kind of
all across the board.
Yeah, even not just the Tiny Wisp, also the Tinker, as we sort of saw with that Weaver, as we heard about from that Weaver in the top lane. Falls in the mid.
And they're going to go. Good time outside of Inquisitor top.
right in the middle of the lane, so that'll make Ink Visitor's time up top a bit more difficult as well. Total tower count is 1 to 0. If we look at the gold graph, Fnatic ahead by just about 3,000 gold, somewhere about 2,000 experience. They are ahead in 1 hero kill, and just harassing back here, throwing some damage to the Dro. Courier will respond for Fnatic, and there you go. That's Tinker's Soul Ring that I'm sure the Courier will be delivering.
And Honey's getting started on the Ancients down here.
Himself actually only a double stack right now, Thunder Lizards as well as the Dragons. But you got to start somewhere, and there really wasn't anybody too well suited to deal with it. Trixie, although he could have stacked the Ancients, he did a good job putting pressure in that bottom lane and not giving Queen of Pain any extra room to farm than she already had. And his Hand of Midas is already in full effect. He's got the Arcane Boots complete, and he is just farming away, happy as a clam. Number 2 on the net worth chart. Power Tread.
He's still doing alright.
About it.
Especially considering he was an off-lane weaver. He's off-lane dual lane, so.
Actually, both the supports are smoked up here in the top lane.
He's going to need that Linken's pretty fast.
Yeah, perhaps they can do something.
God, don't fly.
They'll just put him in the Nightmare, and maybe the Fly's going to hang around way too long. He'll take a poison touch.
Here comes Tony.
The relocate, and baseball start things off. Trixie coming back in as well. Queen of Pain with some damage, but Dazzle and Visage just get destroyed. Now Judo in big trouble. Doesn't have a blink for another 3 seconds. I don't think they'll have the damage to finish him off, though. The relocate back, and Judo survives. Still a 2-for-1 going away Fnatic. And whoa, Dro Ranger, she'll get picked up.
What a smart choice to bring him back.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
because... Yeah, I mean, Era was still chasing for that kill on Quap and had a toss and might be able to throw it in. But No Tail, with the knowledge, with the heads-up play, bringing it back to mid and getting a kill on the Drow.
So it ends up being a 3-for-1 across the map. Fnatic making great use of that Tiny Wisp combo.
Yeah, Chummy did not think that there was going to be a Tony coming back.
Yeah, and now Tiny, he's well on his way to his Ag Scepter. He's got Point Booster and Staff of Wizardry. And yeah, it's about 1,300 gold until he's going to have that giant branch, and that's really once Tiny starts to get scary. Not just because he cleaves, but they'll be able to push structures more quickly and effectively, and just a solid item all around. Arrow will get engaged upon here in the mid lane, though, and should be in a little bit of trouble.
They're throwing everything at him. They can't kill him.
Yeah, No Tail's support is
that
just
point booster doing work, and No Tail.
Blow a lot. Dro doing a lot of damage. Uses her.
Use the ultimate. They threw down weave and bird damage. Oh, the Fly.
Oh, that's the bird damage right there. Just dropping Fly. Era coming back in. They'll grab a counter kill onto the Dro Ranger. Big Nom actually graves himself. I think that might have been a misplay there. Now he's in big trouble. One more auto attack ought to do it. 13 hit points to spare. There's the laser for good measure. They'll grab the double damage rune up top. And Fnatic once again find an effective exchange, a 2-for-1, and they grab the double damage rune in the bottle.
Once more.
Maybe they can finish off Judo here. There's the avalanche toss. See you later. Quap is an elusive hero, but not when you're too squishy to survive the burst from Tiny. And just another easy kill. And look at this Quap's build. Power treads into Oblivion Staff. She's sitting on int treads as well.
Era's 8-0. He's 400 gold away from his Aghanim Scepter. This game's getting ugly fast.
Q and Sane were off to a really good start.
They were.
They started out 3-0, and they shut down this Tinker, but now Hani's found some recovery, 5,000 gold, 7,500 experience lead. Trixie's had Hand of Midas. He will have a mech in just about 200 gold. Tiny's 400 off his Ag Scepter, and how's the Tinker doing? Well, only 900 in the bank right now, but he's farming away, still using those VOTs.
Tinker's more of an insurance plan at this point.
Yeah, it's more, he got the VOTs in a timely manner, so now he can just start moving around. The pressure is off. He's got that core item at least. Inquisitor's in big trouble up top. They drop a Sentry. The Fiend's Grip, but a nice ultimate from Dazzle will buy him enough time to time-lapse. And he will Shikuchi away. Unfortunately, Dazzle will be caught without the grave for himself. And yeah, that contributes to the godlike streak now for Era.
The massage duo coming in doing some work.
Yeah. But he can only keep, there's only so many graves he can throw out with all of these squishy heroes. They're just food for Tiny at this point. This is exactly what I was worried about when you draft a lineup of basically all int heroes except that of Weaver.
Right. They haven't been able to react fast enough to these relocate ganks. They've got all these mobile heroes, but they haven't been able to actually respond quickly enough to get away, to blink out, to Scoochie out, to get the... top.
Yeah, Inquisitor doing some damage to Fly. Judo comes in, and, well, they will secure that kill despite the brain sap, buying him a little bit of time. And maybe a fight will break out up top. Actually, a 4-man rotation from our Radiant side, but they won't find a kill.
And Drow is... Oh,
back
Arrow's
to safety.
chasing the Drow again.
See you later, Chomi.
Yeah, he's dead.
Once that silence is off, Arrow, he's not even going to use his mana. He's just going to branch him down. That was
wow.
That was a style kill right there.
Structures are fortified.
That increased melee attack range with the tree doing some damage too.
Yeah, it's worth noting for sure. Top tier 1 tower falls in favor of the Radiant side, but their mid tier 2 will take some pressure.
Think about it. Arrow's going to stay right here. He's going to keep clearing the way fast enough.
Yeah, like I said, that branch makes him do a lot of damage to structures. They'll back off, but still, a good exchange. I mean, they do a lot of damage to that tier 2. Judo. Oh, he won't show himself. So he could be in a little bit of trouble here if he's not careful. Brave right now. Only level 12, and I say only lightly.
Only level 12 at 17 minutes into the game.
Only level 12, second highest
with Ag's drum.
Yeah, he's a solid level 12. Yeah, the experience is looking a little scary. If you pull up that hero chart, there's a lot of red floating towards the top. Queen of Pain, kind of the only outlier on that front, who's in the middle of the pack, but
and
everyone
Big
else.
Numb, don't go up the hill, Big Numb. Okay. He's got Zaguchi.
Yeah, Inquisitor is kind of the only elusive target that isn't an easy kill for Tiny. And, a double damager and spawns up top. Tiny won't contest it. It looks like Weaver will go ahead and just pick it up.
Arrow wanted it so bad, but he knew there were 4 other heroes there.
Yeah. Uh-oh, here we go. Relocate into the mid. Looks like they'll go for the Dro. Judo comes in, drops the ultimate. Actually will secure the kill on the EO. And No Tail will buy back straight away.
2-man avalanche.
Just doing a lot of damage. Unfortunately, doesn't have much follow-up. Now, Hani joining the fray. And Era is on the back foot. No Tail coming in. Hani does pick up a kill around the backside. And here we go. Speed script into the wall. A lot of damage coming out here onto the Radiant side. Inquisitor just barely staying alive. He'll eventually fall, and it will be a full team wipe. That's a 5-for-1. 1 buyback used, and of course it was the Wisp.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yep, I think this one is looking close to a GG.
No Tail's got his urn, so he can just overcharge and earn himself, pop bottles, and he can just damn they call it a GG.
There you go, 19 minutes. I mean, I want to say that that's a little premature, but I don't think that it is. Tiny is, he's an avalanche rolling down the hill, picking up momentum, and there's just nothing in his way, nothing to slow him down.
Snowball harder. The worst thing I've ever